Hey, good night, my people. What's up? What's up? What's up? Hope and trust that you had a good day today. Today being what Monday, the 19th day of January, 2026, and the time right now is 8 minutes after the 8 p.m. hour. Well, today a friend of mine sent me an article. I guess the article was in the Daily Observer, and the article is captioned PM urges public to blaze APOA minister as water distribution problem persists. That's the name of the article. That's the caption of the article. And I did hear in the 5:30 news some recording, playing of a recording coming out of the interview in relation to that. When I got the article this morning, I smiled to myself. I smiled to myself because I don't know how many of you all remember the name Ian Lewis. I thought that Ian Lewis was the problem at APU, as I said. I have heard it being said by officials in the government that Mr. Lewis was a UPP person and he was making problems at the APUA. And persons in the public gobbled it up. Well, I knew that that was bullshit. And from the beginning to now, the problem in APUA has to do with money and the availability of money. I know that. I've spoken to enough persons in APUA to have drawn that conclusion. All when the election finished and persons were saying people turn off valve and all that kind of thing. It's just crap. It's just crap. I mean I knew that, so certain things are put out there for public consumption and persons are well aware that when some people hear things, instead of analyzing it and asking questions and satisfying yourself, let us run with what they're told. But I thought that Ian Lewis was the problem. Turned out, it seems as if Ian Lewis is not the problem. Ian Lewis, I believe he might have been gone from APU now, going on a year, because time flies so fast. Here we are still. PM urges public to blaze APU ministers' water distribution problems persist. Now, before I go further, talking about Ian Lewis. Before Ian Lewis left, my understanding was they got a very good package. I could be wrong, but that's my understanding. Um, Before he left, I believe what's his man name there? Martin. Martin left before him, and I'm not sure whether his contract was renewed or I'm not sure if he was fired. Um, but he left before him. And just as a passing side, I was told that the matter between Martin took the matter to the Labor Department. Well, when I say he took the matter, I don't know who he had as his representatives, but the matter went to the Labor Department, and I'm told that his matter is coming up before the Industrial Court on the 2nd of March this year. I need to make a note of that date. The 2nd of March of this year, his matter comes before the industrial court. I think that would be a case that I would want to sit down and listen to. So, for those of you who don't know, keep that in mind, that date in mind. 2nd of March, 2026. Persons in the media, etc., might want to, sit in and hear the facts as presented before the court. So, Martin gone, Lois gone, problem persists. And if I'm not mistaken, I would have heard somebody who said to me that the present general manager is, I'm not going to say a personal friend, but they're known to one another, the minister and the personal general man, the general manager now. So, it's interesting for me to be hearing Person saying, these are the people y'all are supposed to be blazing. Um, what I would want to encourage APU to do, as it is putting out information, put out information in the written form. Now. I think that would do a good thing. If the information, write a little report and whatever it is and put it out in print. Reason being, when you put out these things in print, you can go back to a document and compare them. I have been tracking this water situation for quite a while, and I've been talking to multiple people, and I think I have a pretty good idea as to what is happening, right? I think I have a pretty good idea as to what is happening. Um, I hear it being said, and I would have said this already, but I don't know. Maybe I need to repeat things so that people will hear. Maybe they weren't listening at the time. I have said it already and I'll say it again. I've been tracking what I've been told as to the amount of gallons per day that APOA can produce. They have the ability to produce. But I have been told that the plants are never run at maximum capacity. They run at 85% capacity. So if you tally up the ability that APO has, and then you find 80%, 85% of that, then you would get an idea as to what is being quote unquote produced. Because I'm told, as I said, the plants are not run at 100%. And again, as I said, these are figures that I've been keeping from various sources. And this is why I'm encouraging APOA to put out your information in print. Because sometimes I might hear something and somebody might hear, and then, you know what I mean? If we have it in print, you can always go and get it and do the comparison. But because I have been tracking this thing so closely, whenever I hear something, I update my file in the clouds, so they come here. It's up in the clouds. I update my files. So I'm not gonna tell you my information is 100%, but it's not far from what it is. I'm confident of that. From the information I have, APUA can have the ability to produce 11.5 million gallons of water a day. The different plants that they have can produce that. Bear in mind, I said earlier, I was told that the plants are not run at 100%. So 85% of that 11.5 million gallons a day worked out to be 9.7 million gallons a day. And of course, this is all things being equal, right? 9.7 million gallons per day. That's from reverse osmosis. I am told that the lapse, right? I'm told that the lapse surface water area um brings about 800,000 gallons a day. Again, all things being equal, not in the dry season. And they could go a little over a million in extreme cases. So I'm going to use 800,000 gallons a day. And Bendal's is also 800,000 gallons a day. And that Bendal's information, that Bendal's total, came from the minister himself. If you're to visit the Antigua Newsroom site on the 14th of April, 2025, you will see that information in that publication there. The 14th of April, 2025. So let me put it there. So persons who want to go and do it themselves can do it. So when you add 9.7 million gallons, that's the 85% of the 11.5 because they don't run it at maximum. If they run it at maximum, they have to come and tell us now. When you add the 9.7 million, 800,000 from the Laps, Potworks, 800,000 from Bendels, you come up with a figure of 11.3. 11 point, let me make sure, 1, 2, 3, yes, 11.3 million gallons a day, right? And that is before leakage, taking leakage into consideration. 11 point, what is it, 11.4, 11.3, 11.3 million gallons, roughly, between reverse osmosis, Delaps, Potworks, and Bendels. Now, I was told that they were working with a 30% rate as per leakage, right? But based on the presentation of the minister in the budget debate on the 10th of December 2025, a few weeks ago, the minister indicated that there was a 55% leakage rate. Again, that information came from his budget debate on the 10th of December 2025. And when I heard it, you don't have to ask if I recorded it. Because again, as I said, because I'm tracking what's happening at APUA, once I hear this information, I realize how it impacts on the information I have. So I'm constantly updating. I'm constantly updating my thing with APUA. So when I heard, I knew I was using 30% based on what I was told. And when I heard 55%, I said, huh? I had to ask a couple of people and so. And they said, yes, that's what I heard. And I do have the recording to that effect. Now, 55% of 11.3. Let me make sure. Yes. 55% of 11.3 works out to be 6.2 million. Right? 6.2 million. 55% of the 11.3. The 11.3 million represents the production before leakage. 55% represent the leakage. That works out to be 6.2 million gallons a day. So if you subtract the 6.2 million gallons a day from the 11.3 million gallons being produced at the 85%, you're at 5.1. 1, 2, 3, yes. The available water after leakage get into the homes is 5.1 million gallons a day. Now, we're told again that the country's daily demand is 9 million gallons a day. 9 million gallons a day. And you can check the Antigua newsroom. The article is the 14th of January 2025. The 14th of January 2025, Antigua newsroom. You will see the information there that the daily demand of the country is 9 million gallons a day as at the 14th of January 2025. You do a simple mathematics. You subtract 5.1 from 5.1 being what is available to the public. You subtract that from the daily demand, which is 9 million, and you come up with a shortage of 3.8 million gallons. If you round it off, 4 million. So it does not surprise me when you see what is off here and what is off there and what is off there. Because figures don't lie. People use figures to lie, but figures don't lie. And I have given the figures that I have sourced from different sources. And again, I believe for the third time on this recording, I'm encouraging APUA to put the information that they have in writing so that we can make a comparison. And where there is an error, then we look at it and we know. So, for instance, if when I'm told that APUA operate at 85% capacity of what they have, if that is incorrect and APUA is running at 100%, well, tell us you're at 100%. Because no, instead of me using the figure of 9.7 gallons per day being produced at 85%, if you're running at 100% and you go on the record and tell us you're running at 100%, then it's no longer 9.7. It's roughly 11.5. You follow me? But we need to have these things in writing so that we can tie APUA to what it is. Because as I was saying, I was told that they were using a 30% leakage rate. Just to hear from the minister in his debate, again on the 10th of December 2025, that leakage rate is 55%. Whole 20% more than what I was using. So that goes there. To go back to the article about the blazing that and blazing this and blazing that, I'm not Melford's PR person. Melford can do that for himself. But I know if we're to blaze anybody, we have to blaze the government because it is the government that passes its budget as to what they're going to get, what different areas is going to get, and they said what it is. And I don't know that Melford can get 15 million, just to call a figure, from 8 million. So I'm not going to personally blame Melford. He works with what money he have. APUA can only work with what money they have. I understand that. And that is why when I hear ignorance being spoken about valves being turned off and this person being UPP, I know it's crap. Because the person is never no longer there. Martin is not there. Ian Lewis, right? Ian Lewis is not there. But where are we? Yes, I'm sure that there's inefficiencies in APUA. I'm sure of that. I whenever I travel and I see a leak, I call APUA. It doesn't have to be in Yorks where I am. If I'm driving up anywhere and I see a leak, I'm calling APUA and getting the reference number so I know, hey, I made this. Yes, a few days ago I saw a leak down in Hatton, just to the west of the intersection there with Tortura. And the water ran there for about close to a week. And it was good. It wasn't a slow leak. The water ran there for close to a week before they came and fixed it. That's a fact. I've spoken to that to people. I've sent people there to see themselves. Persons not going to work down at what they call on the Royal Antigua, whatever they call it. They became so aware of it that then they look, hey, beef, the pipe not fixed yet. So yes, I accept that there's inefficiencies that needs to be dealt with on a continuous basis. I can accept that. But overall, money is the issue. No, I would have said to you what the leakage rate. There's a cost to that. There is a cost to that. And I'm just waiting. Because you see that backdrop there? Water bills. It is going to go up. Because somebody have to pay for them leakage. Let's wait and see. When it happens, let's wait and see. Go back to the article about blazing up. Blazing up. Well, that's what I'm going to call it, blazing up. You see, in Antigua, we don't remember things, right? We don't remember things in Antigua. So, unfortunately, you have to keep saying the same thing over and over sometimes. It gets frustrating, but Ah, man, it's just something that we have to do. On the 6th of April, 2023, let me give the date again for persons who might want to go and back check. On the 6th of April, 2023, the minister was speaking at the post-cabinet briefing. That's what they call it, right? And this is a readout of the part that I want to bring to your attention. Because people forget. I don't know. And the journalists, the people who they have around here that they call journalists, well, they get the press statement, blah blah blah. They write the story. I guess with AI now they do that, and blah, that's it. But to me, most of them people who call themselves journalists around here is a waste of time, as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, I digressed a bit there. The 6th of April 2023. Let's go. Let's go. And this is Mr. Nicholas speaking. To go back to the original question, we are not yet in receipt of the funds to be able to do that. So we have squeezed as much resources as we can from the internal cash flow and operations of the utility. And I think they've done remarkably well to get us to this point. But there's still a lot of distance to go. Now, remember that they were talking about, I think it was 100 million loan. There was supposed to be a consortium of things to come to give AP the loan. And when we thought that they had the money, then I was told that the sum that come to yet. I was told that. And then eventually the minister confirmed what I was told here, where he said that they were doing what they can with the internal cash flow and operation of the utility. So then Zoe, I believe, then asked after he said that, how many types of pipes? How many types of pipes still need to be replaced? That was a question. Remember the date of this interview. The 6th of April 2023, 24, 25. So we're going to 3 years. No. 3 years, correct? Let me see. 23. Yeah, 24, 25, 26. Right. We're a few months short of 3 years. This interview is going. How many pipes? How many types of pipes still need to be replaced? And this was Mr. Nicholas. If I'm going to tell you the plain truth, the plain bold truth, Zoe, there are approximately 37 miles of pipe in Antigua in the transmission and distribution system. And the vast majority of it, more than 80% of it, are old cast iron pipes. And we over the period of the last 20 years, APUA would have been in the process of removing some of those cast iron pipes and replacing them with the hard white PVC pipes. These pipes are known to malfunction after 10 years because they do get brittle. And when we have frequent changes in atmospheric conditions, where we have heavy rainfalls and then it gets very dry, as it is now, the movement in the land or the subsidence of the land causes those PVC pipes to crack and to break. What APUA has moved to since, I believe, 2016, would be the implementation of the use of HDP pipes. And these high-density polyurethane pipes are, and that's it went on from there, are more resilient towards that structural movement in the land and are less prone to leaks. To answer your question, to remove 10 miles of those pipes and to replace them is going to cost approximately 40 million EC dollars in the first instance. So there is going to be an ongoing, I would say, even 5, 7, 10-year challenge to be able to get up to par where the entire infrastructure of distribution pipes and transmission pipes are replaced. This is going to be an ongoing requirement to deal with the whole replacement of pipes. There's lots of it in the ground, lots of it are old, and we have got to do this on a phased basis and a selective basis, and to deal with the more urgent problems of getting water to the homes and to get high quality potable water to the homes, because in many instances, people are still complaining of rusty water coming into the pipes whenever water are available. So we have to be able to deal with those on a priority basis, and we go forward. That was the minister on the 6th of April, 2023, almost 3 years ago. Let me just read back over this part. To answer your question, to remove 10 miles of pipes and to replace them is going to cost approximately 40 million EC dollars in the first instance. So there is going to be an ongoing, I would say even 5, 7, 10-year challenge to be able to get up to par where the entire infrastructure of distribution pipes and transmission pipes are replaced. Just as I'm doing that now, let me just do something quickly here. 5 plus 7 plus 10 divided by 3. So the average is going to be 11, 7 years? Yeah, 7. 7 years. Average. If you take the average. That is what the minister would have said. Now, is it possible that the minister 3 years ago could have been saying this to his cabinet colleagues? Oh, no, let me put it the other way. Is it possible that the minister could have been saying this 3 years ago to the media and not his colleagues? That's possible? Is it possible that when the ministers contributed to the budget just a few weeks ago, right? Is it possible that when the minister said that there was a 55% leakage rate, is it possible that he would have said that to the country through the parliament and not his cabinet colleagues? That's possible. So when I hear or read an article that says, blaze up the minister, yeah? Yeah? Blaze up the minister, yeah? You see? But these are the kind of things that are sold to people. But when you don't do the research, you don't know. Blaze up the government. I don't who need to get blaze up. Blaze up the government. Because you see, we're talking about wastage. You see where the wastage can be going? That's just another example of where the wastage can be going. That's just another example. I'm not going to get in the hospital as yet. That's for another recording. Mr. Minister, if I've said anything that is incorrect, I know you have my number. You can call me and tell me I'm incorrect. But for the last time on this video, what I would suggest that you have APUA do is to put the information out in writing so that we all have it. We all can compare and we all can see what's happening. Because I'm certainly not going to tell you or say to the public who my sources are. But I'm reasonably confident that the information that I've gotten is correct. And as discussions come out, I keep seeing it being verified. For instance, I would have heard the very same day when I believe persons were invited to the cabinet when, as it was put, APOA and the Blue Ocean was put together to deal with the dredging up in the crabs here up there, right? When persons came to cabinet, I heard about it the next day. I had to hush my mouth, but I heard about it, and then on a particular show, then you hear it. What we didn't hear on the show was that AP was concerned that they were being tagged with the bill. We didn't hear that on the show. But persons told me about it. And the persons who told me about it, I'm satisfied that they're credible people. So I just wanted to speak to that. Blaze up. No, I'm not gonna get nobody go put out no words out there and me just run with it. No, and I want to encourage my people when you hear things, ask questions, confirm for yourself. Because a lot of people out there is running with things that people feed them knowing that they're going to run with it without questioning it. So I was listening to again something, I think it was Weather Report on ABS a few days ago. And I heard that no, between January and March, we're going to be going through a dry spell. By the time I heard it, I smiled. By the time I heard it, I smiled. Within the last couple of days, we have been having some high winds. I'm hearing that even the ferry service coming over from Barbuda is going to be affected. I believe might be Wednesday. So I already know that if the seas kick up, that APUA is going to have to cut back on their desalination because we would have heard that once the sea is up and down, it affects the sucking in of the water, the sand and the membrane and that kind of stuff. So I already know what's going to be happening over the next couple of days once that is affected. Once that is affected. But then at that point in time, somebody would want to say, blaze up the minister. Nah. Mm-mm. 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 I don't know that the minister have enough money to say, let me sort out storage for 2 weeks in the event the seas are bad for 2 weeks. I don't know that he has that ability. I don't know that AP has that ability. And if they don't have that ability, and the sea is like what it is, what do you think is gonna happen? Anyway, the other day they were giving away some tanks. I heard certain persons got, certain persons didn't get. Let's hope that people sort out their water storage for when they don't have no water. Take care, my people. Bless up yourself.